Live from the Heartland Mamas studio, this is the Heartland Mamas podcast. I'm your host, Heidi Henry. The Heartland Mamas podcast is available on all podcast platforms, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and proudly part of the Demcast USA network. As of today, we have 323 days left until the November 5th, 2024 election. And after this cast, if you don't get going and do something to get Democrats elected up and down the ticket, you're part of the cult. Seriously, if this doesn't get you going, I don't know what will. Because 2 days ago, Donald Trump delivered another racist trope speech, just like the one he did in 2015 when he was coming down the escalator, murderers and rapists. Remember that? Remember that? I had to go back and listen to that, so you didn't have to. And I listened to his New Hampshire and Nevada speeches this weekend, or this last couple days, so you didn't have to. So you're welcome. Sometimes I think my ears are going to burn from listening to all this stuff, but I do it so you don't have to. And I just want to say that when somebody gets up there after everything we've litigated, after their former attorney has lost everything financially and still saber rattles about how they won the 2020 election and that it was stolen, we are so disconnected from reality that I don't even know where to go from there. I mean, but that's where he's at mentally. He's still there. And he does this, mind power thing where if he says it, it must be it. He's manifesting. And that's where he is. So I'm just telling you, he is so lost in that. But after he screamed about, I won the 2020 election, it was stolen, then he went on to praise his usual, Putin, Orban. He quoted them. He loves them. He speaks about them with his highest regards and how much Kim Jong-un adores him. This is a man that's desperate for praise because these are people that would dump him as fast as he would dump them once he's not useful to them anymore, because he won't be useful to them much longer, right? So then he went on to praise his January 6th warriors, to praise them for what they tried to do, which was overthrow our government, right? I mean, that was the ultimate goal. They broke into the Capitol. They peed and pooped on everything, rubbed it into paintings and rubbed it onto statues and onto the walls. And who goes into a building to do that? I can't even wrap my head around pooping and then picking it up with my bare hands and rubbing it on something. God, at what level is that okay? It's not okay. Those people were not okay. But he calls them hostages instead of prisoners because they're criminals, right? I mean, they went to jail for bludgeoning and murdering the Capitol police officers that were there to protect the Capitol building under extreme conditions. I mean, we all know that story, so I won't go and rehash that. But despite the fact that they vandalized so much stuff, they called for the wholesale murder of the vice president via hanging. And God only knows what they would have done had they caught him or any of the other members of Congress. I mean, we know what they did to the Capitol Police, and that's that thin blue line that they say they respect so much, which they obviously don't. Obviously don't. They are expendable, just like everybody in Trump's life, expendable. So, but that wasn't the worst thing he did. And we're going to go back to the racist tropes because we need to talk about this. And I want to tell you that he invited all of his followers from 2015 to jump back on his hate train. He wants them back on because that's how he won in 2016, is through hate and division. So that's what he's firing up that train now. Everybody who hates, hop on. That's what he's all about. And I'm gonna read from this piece of paper here because I want to read this verbatim because you need to know what he said. I listened to it. They're poisoning the blood of our country. They've poisoned mental institutions and prisons all over the world, not just in South America, not just the 3 or 4 countries that we think about, but all over the world. They're coming into our country from Africa, from Asia, from all over the world. They're pouring into our country. He's claiming that migrants are pouring into our country. Nobody's even looking, he says. Nobody's even looking at them. They're just pouring in. They come in and the crime is going to be tremendous and the terrorism is going to be tremendous. Listen, his blood purity tropes are straight out of the Hitler playbook Mein Kampf. We all read that. Didn't you read that when you were in junior high? I think that's the first time I read quotes from it. The first time I was exposed to it in the Glen Ellen public school system. And then because I was really curious, I went on to read the whole thing, I think between 8th and 9th grade, just because don't ever tell me not to read something. Because I'm all in. And because you got to read stuff to know what it says. You can't hide from it. It didn't turn me into a little brown shirt. It made me furious at them. Furious. So it crossed my mind, though, since he's so against people that aren't lily white, what does it mean for his Cuban and Venezuelan followers? I mean, they love Trump. They support him completely. But you know what? Based on what he said, he doesn't support them at all, or their ability to even be here, to set foot in this country. Listen, they're just pawns. They're just pawns. If they are legal to vote, he will use them to the max. But he doesn't give a crap about them. And you know that. I know that. And look, we fought a war about this. We fought World War II about this very blood purity thing. 20 million people died in Europe over blood purity, thanks to Hitler and Stalin. Some of you have parents and grandparents and great-grandparents that fought and possibly died in that war. 20 million people worth, and he just refers to them as chumps and losers because Captain Bonespurs, didn't go to defend anybody about anything ever, right? He wants to stop the spread of communism. Where was he when Vietnam was going on? Oh, I got Bonespurs, can't do it. You know, anyway, blood purity. Blood purity. America is a melting pot. I learned that in 2nd grade, didn't you? We're a melting pot of countries and colors and religions and cultures and beliefs and cuisine and so much more. And the collective of these brains and these souls makes us all stronger and better for it. We are better for our diversity. His family were immigrants. My family were immigrants. I'm betting your family was an immigrant. So when did it become wrong to be an immigrant or a migrant? The USA is the ultimate place, or should be the ultimate place, for diversity and inclusion. And there's no room in this country or in the world for the Trump hate train. There just isn't. And it's not even that he just said that 2 days ago. Yesterday in Reno, he doubled down on all of that, on all of it. And then he said, we're going to win 4 more years. And after that, we're going to negotiate for more because I'm really, really good at negotiating. He is telling you he plans to be a dictator. In fact, he said, on day 1, I'll be a dictator. And we know what that means. It just doesn't mean that one day. It means forever he will be a dictator. And when he's done, he wants his family to hop in. Oh, can you imagine? Do we all have to do coke like Don Jr.? I don't know. He has told you, Trump has told you what he plans. Re-education camps, internment camps, public executions. He plans to have he plans to never leave office. He plans to have mass deportations. He has told you what he plans to do. Every time he tells that damn snake story, and I'm starting to think this is one of his cognitive exercises that he's supposed to do every day to make sure his brain is still clicking around. We know the snake in the story is him, and he loves it that his cult thinks that they're putting one over on us with the metaphor of the snake story, but the snake is him. So Project 2025 is his Mein Kampf. It's out there for you to read. It's been published. You know what's coming. You know what's coming. My question to you is, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? I know what I'm doing about it. So from the edge of the Great Red Divide, this is Heidi Henry, and this has been the Heartland Mamas podcast.